never get tired of Triple H's NXT intro. What's up, everybody? DJ Kaz. I'm back here on PWFEmpire.com to give you my NXT recap. Tonight, we did have the NXT Tag Team Championships on the line. And of course, you guys know me. I love a good tag team title match either way, as Heavy Machinery took on ALP. I'm going to talk about that right there. And also tonight we had the return of one Johnny Gargano, his first NXT televised appearance since being taken out by his former tag team DIY partner Tommaso Ciampa. I'm going to go over that tonight here on NXT Recap. We kicked off NXT tonight with a bit of a build-up promo, I would say, for Johnny Gargano's return when they recapped us on how Tommaso Ciampa turned on him after the classic NXT Tag Team title ladder match against ALP. So that was nice to see that again. Gives us a good little build. Then what we got afterwards was a bit of a recap from the NXT Championship match last week when Roderick Strong was unable to capture the NXT Championship from one glorious Bobby Roode. So now, interesting to see where they go from here, because we did get that Bobby Roode will be in the Full Sail. Now, people, let's go ahead and talk about the first match of the night. We have one Alistair Black. I think it's the first time he's been in a match since the match with Cassius Ohno. Glad to see him back in action. But his opponent was one former Ring of Honor World Tag Team Champion, former multi-time IWGP Junior Heavyweight Tag Team Champion, and then most recently, former Ring of Honor Television Champion in one Bobby freaking Fish, making his NXT debut against Alistair Black. This match, I gotta be honest with you, I actually enjoyed it for the technical aspect of it, because I did for the first time, like the match against Cassius Ohno that Alistair Black had, like that was more of a striking game. This one was very technical, and this is the first time I think anybody's actually gotten Alistair Black when it comes to the technical aspect, but I actually enjoyed the match for what it was. To me, it's interesting because this kind of reminds me of when last year Eric Young made his debut in NXT against Samoa Joe, and it was like we didn't know what Eric Young's status was at the time. Like we didn't know if he was just a one-off match or like a full-time competitor. So even though Bobby Fish, like it was fine. I was fine with him losing because you're establishing Alistair Black. You don't know what you're gonna do with Bobby Fish in the meantime. So I am very pleased to see Bobby Fish in NXT, and I'm hoping Kyle O'Reilly's not that far behind, because that would definitely spice the NXT Tag Team division up. But as far as what I saw tonight with Alistair Black and him, very good stuff. And I can't wait to see what they're going to do with Bobby Fish next. Next, we do get a recap from last week's NXT Tag Team match featuring Cassius Ohno and Hideo Itami taking on Killian Dane and Alexander Wolf of Sanity. So they're starting to build more of a story with the whole tension between Hideo Itami and Cassius Ohno, and I actually enjoy that aspect of it, so I can't wait to see what they're going to keep doing with those guys next. So not really much from them this week, but hey, it's just the little things that NXT does so well that gets me to want to tune in next week to see what they're going to do with those two next. Now, of course, keeping up with the tradition of building people up when they're not on the show, we did give a bit of a vignette featuring a new tag team from the NXT House Show division. This is a team that I've actually been keeping an eye on because, like, again, I tell you guys that I like to keep up with who gets used on live events and who doesn't. But yes, this is a new team that's called the Street Profits, the team of Montez Ford and Sawyer Fulton. So yeah, these are definitely two guys who right now, like I said, they've only been doing matches on the house shows. That's pretty much all I can tell you right now. But from what I've seen and from what I've heard, I'm interested to see what they do. But again, I'm glad they're starting to rebuild the NXT Tag Team division, because again, this is one of the divisions that's suffering the most right now. So hopefully we get some new blood in this tag team division. Hopefully they're a good team. Can't wait to see them. Then we get some more development when one of the interviews from NXT wants to try to interview the Velveteen Dream, but doesn't really go the way he's playing. He's really cocky and arrogant. Again, it's pretty much the same stuff we've seen from Velveteen Dream so far, so this was kind of harmless, but yeah, not really much to talk about with him this week. But hey, again, the dude does one hell of an elbow drop. NXT Women's Division action, as we had a Mae Young qualifying match. So this was very happy to see right here. It was Vanessa Bourne versus Jamie Hasey. This match, I'm not gonna lie, guys. I mean, it was a Mae Young Classic, and we all know that tournament's going to be going on soon. And here's the thing: the way this tournament is working out, for what I've heard, it's all going to be all taped. and we're not going to see the tournament till like next month. So I'm just glad that they're starting to put emphasis on the Mae Young Classic because they've talked about it, but we haven't really seen much action from it. So it was actually good to see that here for them tonight. We then get a bit of a recap footage from Drew McIntyre leaving the NXT arena, and then him getting attacked by Killian Dane and Alexander Wolf of Sanity. So not really much to talk about right there. But what was interesting was what led to Bobby Roode and William Regal in the office. And we found out that next week on NXT, it will be the undefeated Killian Dane versus the undefeated Drew McIntyre. The winner will face Bobby Roode for the NXT Championship when we get to NXT Takeover Brooklyn 3. I will say, though, for some reason, they have a good eye for Killian Dane of Sanity. I don't know why, because here's the thing. I don't have a problem with Killian Dane, but it's like for some reason, he just doesn't stand out to me as like that big four singles competitor of Sanity. Like, they've tried to push him. Like the only time I think I've heard him have a singles match was against No Way Jose, but that's No Way Jose. Anybody can have a decent match with him. But hey, if they built him up, they're both undefeated, so I gotta give NXT credit for that. But yeah, #1 contenders match next week. Of course, we finally had the return of one Johnny Wrestling, one Johnny Gargano make his return to the Full Sail University Arena, and he got a fantastic reaction, which, let's be honest with you, the way that heel turn happened, which right now, people, is right now the best heel turn in wrestling, period. And I'm talking every wrestling promotion. I'm talking wrestling, period. But yeah, he pretty much just came out and said on how he doesn't want to dwell on the past. He doesn't want to like really focus on what happened with Tommaso Ciampa, and he doesn't know why, and he probably will never know why, but he says he's going to move forward and just keep going. And now he talked about how NXT TakeOver Brooklyn 3 is the biggest show of the year for NXT, and he needs to be on it no matter what. I will say, though, from the recap that we got from Johnny Gargano, here's the thing. They can't really dive into the Tommaso Ciampa stuff because, guys, let's just be real here, because unfortunately we're probably not even gonna see this feud probably until Tommaso. We're not gonna see it until Tommaso Ciampa gets back, because the dude's gonna be gone till early 2018 from last time I heard. And let's be real here, this feud will probably be cooled off a lot by the time that happens. So I would have liked to hear more of an explanation from Johnny Gargano, but here's the thing. They got to find some way how to cut the Tommaso Ciampa part out of this, and they just need to go ahead and just go full force with Johnny Gargano going on his own, because there's not really much that they could do there. But hey, love to see Johnny Gargano back. Can't wait to see what he does in NXT moving forward. Now, what we actually got next is what I really appreciate, because they don't do this. They did a little bit of a tale of the tape featuring Heavy Machinery and AOP, because this is literally, people, the biggest NXT Tag Team Awesome match I have ever seen. So yeah, can't wait for that. Main event time here on NXT, the third week in a row we have an NXT title match in some way, shape, form, or fashion, as this was my cream of the crop. You guys know I love tag team wrestling. Of course, the NXT Tag Team Championship match featuring my boys Heavy Machinery, the team of Tucker and Ozak Dozovic, taking on AOP's Authors of Pain, Razor, and Akon, with Paul Ellering at ringside. Now, one thing that NXT does very well with their championship matches, in fact, they make them feel like a big fight feel when they dim the lights, and because there's a title match is about to happen, so it should feel like a big fight. But now, when we got to the match, one of the things that I was looking for from Heavy Machinery is because every opponent that has faced AOP in big matches has got the crowd invested. Like American Alpha was able to do it, DIY was able to do it, the Revival was able to do it. Even TM61 at one point had a takeover match against AOP, and they were able to do it. But this match, I love seeing a big cost tag team title match, and for this match right here, for what they were able to do, I am so thankful that this was not on a takeover, because the crowd probably would not be as invested as much as Full Sail was. And the Full Sail crowd, honestly, to this match wasn't really that hot for it, because again, Heavy Machinery is still like a new team. Like, they're still trying to gain their footing. And honestly, what really made me mad the most was the fact, it felt like Heavy Machinery just felt like another team for just AOP to get. And here's the thing, when it comes to both these two tag teams, I mean, the feud, let's be real here. I mean, I love tag team feuds, but it literally was like they just confronted each other. Even though Heavy Machinery has got some wins here and there, I don't think they've gotten the crowd invested enough to where I want to see the babyface team take down the undefeated team in a big house tag team like AOP, the Authors of Pain. And again, I actually thought the match was very good, but it was kind of hard for me to get into it because the Full Sail crowd wasn't really that invested. And again, I know Heavy Machinery is a new team, but here's the thing. What I didn't like about this match was just the sheer fact that it felt like they just fed Heavy Machinery to AOP because they had nobody else. Because I think what they're trying to do is just keep these two teams apart, so that way the next time that they two face off, we might actually see some character development from Heavy Machinery. But hey, I still like the match either way. I just need to see Heavy Machinery really bring that out. Like, they really need to, I need to get behind them more. Now, what we got after the match was very interesting because Sanity, Alexander Wolf, and Nikki Cross and Killian Dane came out to confront Authors of Pain. This to me is weird because didn't William Regal just announce Killian Dane versus Drew McIntyre in a number one contenders match for the NXT Championship? So it's like, did Killian Dane not here? It's like, which championship does he want? The NXT title or the NXT Tag Team titles? Because right now, it's like, you're already telling me that Drew McIntyre is winning. Even though most NXT number one contenders match can be paint by numbers, that's what we're getting next week. And also next week, what we're getting is Ruby Riott versus one Ember Moon. I like that match because two women that have been built up fairly well, you can do that type of match. So it involves the NXT Women's Championship picture. But yeah, NXT, as far as an episode overall, I actually enjoyed it. Seeing Bobby Fish make his in-ring debut against Alistair Black, that was a good match. A little bit of character development featuring the Velveteen Dream and Hideo Itami Castasono. You can check that out right there. The Mae Young qualifying match classic, I'm glad we're getting to see that start to get brought into fruition. But yeah, the NXT Tag Team Championship match, yeah, I'd say watch it, but I just wasn't a big fan of the way Heavy Machinery was just eaten alive so easily. All right, guys, that is it from my end. I am DJ Cass, and I'll be back here with you next week on my NXT recap. I'll see you around. Later days.